Hello guys, and welcome to all those training to become Super Saiyans, and welcome to Revolution. So on today's video, what we are going to be talking about is the relationship between Caulifla and Kale. So basically, a lot of talk in the community lately has been basically whether Kale and Caulifla are either sisters or lovers, or is it just on the part of Kale and some infatuation with Caulifla, or could it just be incestuous? They're probably going the Targaryen route. So basically we have the two sides of the spectrum with this conversation. We have those who literally cannot envisage cartoons or female cartoons in any sort of sexual way, fair enough. And we have those who are just into the pure unadulterated filth side of it and literally would just have Kale and Caulifla going at it all the time to literally live up to their wild fantasies. And while some people do bash them for that, as far as I'm concerned, if you want an adult opinion on it, each to their own. Now, I personally feel okay talking about this. I'm a 29-year-old married man, and basically this video could contain some very adult things. So if you really do feel uncomfortable with that sort of content, I suggest you just leave this video right now, but if you haven't already done so, I'm guessing you want to basically listen to what I've got to say. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a few moments that suggest it could be either one way or the other. Are they sisters or are they lovers? And I will say this, guys, there's no official confirmation on whether they are one way or the other. So basically, when I come to my verdict at the end, that is literally just my perception, my opinion of what's going on so far. Literally, Toriyama could write out anything he wants. A lot of Dragon Ball theorists, no matter how sound their theories seem to be, they could be almost 99% probable. It could literally get blown to smithereens because it might not be in Toriyama's head. So take all this with a pinch of salt and just enjoy the conversation. So Caulifla is the sister of Renzo, who is a Saiyan from Universe 6 and a retired captain of the Sadal Defense Force and mentor of Cabba. And in complete contrast to her brother's rather humble nature, Caulifla is cocksure, cocky and arrogant. We first see Caulifla sitting on a large throne-like chair, eating a large bone of meat. And basically what she is she's a leader of some sort of punk gang. She is visited by Cabba, who tries to recruit her for Team Universe 6, but she declines at first until Cabba portrays the Super Saiyan transformation in front of her, which really grabs her attention. And I think this is a really important thing, is basically she is drawn to power. She wants to achieve it. She's very much like Goku in that regards. But despite having a crew of what seem like tough-looking Saiyans, not the type of people you'd want to mess with, she seems to value her protege, Kale, the most. So basically, when she goes to learn Super Saiyan with Cabba, she takes Kale with her, not those tough-looking guys in the back. Now, I think that's important as well, that she calls Kale her protege. It's not really something you would call your younger sister. I mean, you might do, but I wouldn't really call that a regular occurrence. But obviously, Caulifla has seen some potential in Kale. Power, again, she's seen power, some sort of power within Kale, some sort of hidden potential in Kale that has encouraged Caulifla to take Kale under her wings. Now, basically, what is literally causing this whole debate of whether they are sisters or in some sort of love interest relationship is basically the fact that Kale is constantly calling Caulifla her sis. She has done this so many times throughout the series that you really start to get the impression that maybe they are just sisters, because obviously sis is short for sisters. So basically they either are sisters or it is the Urban Dictionary meaning of the word, which means really uber close friend. So basically, if you're a guy and you have a friend who's a really close friend and you call him bro, it's kind of the same thing. Now, where I'm from in the UK, I don't really hear females calling other females sis that often, to be brutally honest. However, I will call someone bro from time to time. So it could also be very likely that she's calling her sis because she's a really close friend. Now, obviously, what confuses matters even more is the fact that Kale flies into a fit of rage every time she sees Caulifla pay close attention to another person. When she's talking and paying close attention to somebody else, Kale gets incredibly jealous. She becomes a green-eyed monster, and hence, since Cabba showed the Super Saiyan transformation, Kale has unleashed this Super Saiyan Berserk form. Now, in the Tournament of Power, she was pretty much getting beaten the crap out of until Caulifla saved her. But when Caulifla started to show more attention to Goku, who had demonstrated Super Saiyan Blue, the green-eyed monster returned and she went berserk, quite literally. Anyway, Caulifla is drawn to power, like I said. She saw Super Saiyan Blue and she wants to achieve that. Caulifla is attracted to power, and basically it comes across as flirting with Cabba when he showed her Super Saiyan, and even Goku, almost flirtatious with Goku. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the most flirtatious scenes I've ever seen, but obviously Kale is seeing it that way as well. Now, I do not think this is a sister relationship, not in the regards of the biological sense in terms of being siblings. Now, once again, guys, I have no concrete evidence to actually put forward to you. It's just a discussion. The reason I don't believe they're sisters is because usually when Toriyama draws characters, in terms of their facial structure, if they're family, they tend to have the same facial structure. At least the Saiyan families do. Goku, Gohan, and Goten have very similar facial features. Now, you could argue that Gohan's facial structure is a little bit different to Goku's and Goten's, but they have similar eyes, similar nose, similar mouths. The same could be said of the other Saiyan family we know, Vegeta's family. We have King Vegeta, who looks remarkably like Vegeta, just with a moustache and beard. Then we have Future Trunks, who has the same facial structure as Vegeta, as well as, obviously, Kid Trunks, who will grow to have pretty much the same face as Future Trunks. Whereas Kale and Caulifla have completely different facial structures, in particular their eyes. Their eyes are completely different. Sure, siblings can look different, I know they can, but the contrast between them are quite extreme. Their facial shape is different, their eyes are different, their mouths are different, their body shapes are different, their skin tone is different. Now, all these physical features in terms of aesthetics, they don't necessarily point to concrete evidence. I just think they are a little suggestive. There are just no similarities at all, and it really doesn't support the fact they are sisters. Like I said, not concrete, but not very supportive either. Another thing to add to it is Renzo never mentions that he has another sister that has great potential, because he waxed lyrical about Caulifla, but if Caulifla thinks that Kale has a lot of potential, you would have think she would have mentioned it to Renzo. Maybe he could have forgot or simply didn't see the same potential in Kale as his sister Caulifla did. But being a former leader of the Sadal army, that would be poor judgment in potential. Sure, all these points are basically a matter of opinion, but to me it suggests that they aren't sisters. So are they just really close friends? Well, we've seen Kale's facial expressions at the many times that Caulifla has not been paying her attention and somebody else's attention. She often gets flustered when Caulifla pays her any attention or gives her any praise. You could argue that Kale just looks up to Caulifla, sure, but the reactions do seem a bit too extreme. She is literally blushing at every bit of appraisal. So I definitely get the strong impression that there is attraction involved, at least from one side of the party. And obviously that being Kale. Now, do I think they're lovers? Well, I definitely think there is lust there on the side of Kale. It seems too obvious. That is also something that kind of puts me off of this fact, is because they are literally throwing it in our faces, at least aesthetically from an animation point of view. It seems highly suggestive, too highly suggestive at times, and it is definitely a very adult theme going on here. Now, I want to go back to Caulifla being attracted to power. So basically, when these two first met, Caulifla would have seen something in Kale that attracted her to it. She has seen some sort of hidden potential in Kale, and she, knowing Caulifla as we now do, she would have wanted to find out what this power is and how she could probably achieve it for herself. And maybe, just maybe, Kale has took this as a form of flirtation, the fact that she's courting Kale, this leader of a gang. Guys, to be a leader of a gang, you need to have a bit of gravitas about you. You need to know how to sweet talk your followers into believing in your way of thinking. You've got to kind of be a role model in that regard. We've seen time and time again Kale beat herself up about her failings, and she's pretty insecure. So if this leader of this gang, Caulifla, who is attracted to power, pays enough attention to this insecure person, and that person mistakes it for a romantic gesture of sorts, flirtation perhaps, could this highly driven person who is a leader of a gang and knows what she wants and when she wants it, appease the desires of this vulnerable person? And I predict this is what's happened. Just a prediction, guys, I could be wrong. Caulifla, wanting to learn the extent of Kale's power, has given Kale what she wants because Kale has become romantically involved with Caulifla. She is interested in some sort of relationship. Caulifla, despite caring about Kale, wants power. And if this hypothetical situation is the case, Super Saiyan Berserk Kale is in for a good night after this tournament of power, providing Universe 6 survive. So are they sisters or lovers? I personally am leaning more towards lovers. Are they an item? I don't quite think so. I think it's more Kale's desires than Caulifla's. And if I was to be correct, that would make Kale and Caulifla the first gay lesbian couple in the whole of Dragon Ball. In fact, the first gay lesbian character since probably Raccoon. We don't know for sure he definitely is, but he definitely gave that impression. And if Caulifla really was flirting with Goku and Kaba, that would make her bisexual. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you think in the comments section. Do you agree or disagree with my conclusion, my prediction for their relationship? Or do you think there's something else to their relationship that I've not thought of? Let me know in the comments section. If you like my videos, guys, please smash that like button with a big bang attack. If you haven't checked out my new Goku vs Superman series, I highly suggest you do so. I put a lot of work into them. Remember one very, very important final message. If you stay calm in any situation, you will never, ever become a Super Saiyan. Make sure you click that subscribe button to make sure you get all my latest content straight to your account as soon as it's released. And here are some more videos from my library, which I'm sure you will all enjoy.